Hey guys, Eternally Optimistic here with my initial thoughts on the How to Train Your Dragon 2 teaser trailer. Now, I love the first How to Train Your Dragon movie. It is grand, it's sweeping, it's epic, but still has this very sweet boy and his dog story at its center. It is the best thing Dreamworks has ever done in terms of their CG animation, and it's one of my favorite movies ever. Now one of my favorite franchises ever, with all the world building they've done. So, after seeing the teaser for the sequel, I am concerned. For a number of reasons. My first concern has to do with story, because of course it does, story is king. And it actually doesn't have to relate to the teaser trailer at all. The teaser actually does nothing to reveal anything about the plot, which is a good thing. I have felt for many years that the best teasers do just that. They tease. They only give you enough information to pique your interest. And this teaser trailer looks amazing. The water looks amazing. The thunder drums look amazing. You know, Hiccup and Toothless look amazing. And it's grand and it's sweeping and it's epic and it just captures this sense of adventure that is very exciting. Now, my concern actually relates to an interview that director Dean DeBlois and producer Bonnie Arnold did, in which they revealed that this movie is going to be second in a trilogy of How to Train Your Dragon movies that will eventually lead up to the explanation for why dragons became extinct. Why? Why are they going in this direction, and why did they reveal this so early? You know, this feels like it should have been like a really gut-wrenching, emotional sucker punch of a finale, and no, they're just putting this information out there. Now, okay, Dreamworks has done this in the past where they've revealed something in their promotional material that seems like it should be very spoilery, but then turns out to be not necessarily the real twist of the movie. So I have to believe that if they're letting this information slip this early on, it's because they have something else up their sleeves. But it still confuses me that they're necessarily going in this direction, even. I'm assuming that they're doing this because the book series that the movies are based on ends like this. It ends with the dragons becoming extinct. And that's not necessarily a good thing. You know, Dreamworks is very good about doing their book adaptations, and part of it is because they understand what they need to change to make a good movie. It doesn't have to be exactly like what was in the books. Even in the first How to Train Your Dragon, Hiccup was older than he was in the books. Toothless was bigger so that Hiccup could ride on his back. And the point of the books was actually that dragons and Vikings were already friends, sort of, and to prove your worth as a Viking, you had to catch and train a dragon instead of kill a dragon, hence the name How to Train Your Dragon. The changes they made to the first movie allowed it to stand on its own as a unique story, but also kept it from stepping on the toes of the books, which is what Dreamworks does with a lot of their book adaptations. They do book adaptations very well. They're very smart about that. So I do hope that this dragon genocide will make sense for the world that they're going to create. It's nice to know that they have a plan, and I'm hoping that it will still have the emotional punch that it should have, even though the information has been revealed. Basically, we know the end of the series before the second movie has even come out. And quite honestly, knowing about this ending almost makes me want to not go see it. Almost. It is still How to Train Your Dragon. I do have to go see it. My next two concerns both have to deal with aesthetics. And this first one may seem a bit shallow, but there is a reason for it. At the end of the trailer, in the last 3 to 4 seconds, we get essentially this.
For he was the bravest and most handsome in all the land.
But a little more dignified, I suppose. In the last 3 to 4 seconds, Hiccup takes off his helmet, which I was glad to see a helmet that actually covered his face. You know, so often we see armor in the media that is designed to look aesthetic, but isn't necessarily practical. So it was nice to see a armor that really looked like it was protecting his body. I know that's not why they had the full facial helmet. It's so that we could get our surprise animated eye candy in the last few seconds. Now, I think that Dreamworks did a good job of aging Hiccup. He looks different enough to look convincingly like an older kid, but it still looks like the same person. But to be honest, when I first saw that initial promotional picture that was released with the aged versions of Hiccup and Astrid, I recoiled away from it. The more I looked at it, the more I realized they look okay. You know, they actually look pretty good. But there was something that bothered me about it, and it took until seeing this teaser to figure out what it was. In the first How to Train Your Dragon movie, Hiccup had a lot of freckles. You could argue they went a little overboard, but I liked it. I liked that they had so much detail to his skin. It made it look like real skin. Also, he has a scar on his chin, about like right here, and it took me multiple watchings before I was able to pick up on that fact. It's almost unnoticeable, and you can barely see it. You can only really see it if the firelight hits it a certain way. It reacts to light very realistically, and it's one of those details that just it adds a sense of depth and realism to the look of the world. It was wonderful. It was wonderful. I can't stop, you know, being excited about the scar on Hiccup's chin because it looks so amazing. So, what we're getting with this new, older Hiccup, now his face is just one solid color. And it is concerning because it looks like the same amount of effort was not put into making really nice skin for this new model. I understand that a new model had to be made, not just because he's older now, but just to keep up with changing technology. You know, even for Toy Story 2, they had to make new models for all of the characters. But they've removed all the freckles and all the imperfections that were part of the reason that Hiccup was so adorable, and so many people loved him. I've seen people who are not happy with this new Hiccup design. You know, I know people are, oh, he looks attractive, and yeah, he looks attractive, but you know, not everybody. There are some people who still say that the younger Hiccup is the cuter one. I'm one of them. I think he looks better in the original. You know, the freckles and, for all I know, the scar have been entirely removed, and what the result, even the way light bounces off of his skin, it looks very plasticky. It looks fake. It doesn't have the same kind of realistic feel to it that the skin did in the first movie. And it is a concern. The lack of freckles is a concern because it means that the same amount of time was not necessarily put into this new shader for the new model.